Isife for the good job done. Yes, before I go on, let me convey the love and greeting from my family. Just as the chairman had rightly said, this is the last, the 10th commandment, the last in the directive Moses received in the Mount Sinai. This commandment, often referred to as the college. When you first look at this commandment, it may seem that it focuses only on material possession. But a deeper look reveals that it addresses the very nature of human desire and internal disposition of the heart, especially human desire and his struggle with covetousness. So I didn't introduce my presentation from Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. If you forget. If you look at the other commandments address this outwards action, such as, if you look at those who spoke before me, they deal on subject of stealing, murder, lying. But this one I'm speaking today speak to the root causes of all sin, as we listed from chapter 1 till chapter 9. It is a command that goes, that's chapter 17, goes beyond the outward action. It also addresses the internal attitudes that can lead to a sinful behavior. The fact that it comes last is significant, as it leads with the heart's desire, the area where all sins ultimately begin. By forbidding coveting, God is warning us against the danger of discontentment and envy, which can lead to action that might violate other commandments. The Israelites that were given this law had just been delivered from slavery in Egypt, and they were preparing to enter the promised land. As they formed a new nation, it was extremely important or crucial for them to understand that their relationship with each other must be governed by principles of fairness, respect, and love. So coveting and desiring what belongs to your neighbor will breed resentment, division, and disorder in the community. The verse specifically lists several things that should not be coveted. It was repeated also in Deuteronomy chapter 5 and 21. One is a neighbor's house or land. If you go to 1 Kings chapter 21, if you read from 1 to 16, I want to focus on verse 2 that says that Ahab the king spoke unto Naboth, saying, "Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. If you look at in Ahab's case, his desire for Naboth's vineyard was driven by his own selfish desire rather than a legitimate need. Brother Russell said in the print 5770 that the Jewish law forbid the selling of family inheritance. He wanted to say, but he could have given it as a lease for a time to the king's leasement. That's why in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 says, godliness with contentment is great gain. So Christian contentment is based upon godliness, while worldly contentment is based upon love of ease and selfishness. We should not seek to compete with the world in a race for the luxuries of the present time, but we should use our time and energy in the service to which we consecrated it. Let's look at another king that coveted in 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 1. If you look from 2 to 8, we may get the understanding there. Saying, otherwise, King David, he coveted Bathsheba, who was already married to Uriah the Hittite. This desire led him to commit adultery with her in violation of Exodus chapter 20, verse 14. He is not content with his current blessing. He was already a wedding and powerful king with many wives, yet he was not content with what he had. That's why in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 25, someone says, do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes. So the eyes are the window to the soul. And when we look at someone with lust, we are allowing the enemy to gain access to our soul. That's why in Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 to 28, Jesus teaches that looking at a woman with lustful intent, you have already committed adultery with her in your heart. And that's why Job made a covenant. So Job said, I make a covenant with my eyes. And he said, how then could I gaze at a virgin? But there is a difference between lust and appreciation. We can appreciate someone's beauty without lusting after her. The Hebrew word kamad, used for covet, has the same idea of lust after. The same word was used to describe how pleasing to the sight were the trees in the Garden of Eden. You can get that in Genesis chapter 2, verse 9, and 3, verse 6, and 22. Therefore, Adam and Eve sin can be regarded as a form of covetousness. Why? Because they desire for something forbidden. They coveted the forbidden fruit, which represented the knowledge of good and evil that God had reserved for himself. They were already living in a paradise with all their needs met. They were not content with their current state and desired something more, and demonstrated a lack of trust in God's provision and wisdom. They wanted to decide for themselves what was good and evil, before the fall, God was the only one who possessed the knowledge of good and evil. But note, this knowledge of good and evil was not inherent to his divine nature. It was not something that he acquired through experience or observation. Only the angel acquired that through observation. No human eyes can see the coveting heart. It is witnessed only by him to whom all things are naked. Earthly ambition to follow in the footsteps of Jesus. Let us look at the parable of the rich farmer building larger farms. He said that the person said the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful, and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, this will I do. I will put down my barns and build greater ones. There will I bestow all my fruits and goods. And I will say to my soul, so you may ask, what is the sin of this farmer man? Because if you look at here, he worked very hard to acquire this bountiful harvest. Why do we say that it's a part of commercial state? If you look at God has prospered him, he would have used his surplus to help those in need, rather than accumulating it or storing it for many years. Why does those who needed them or who are in need of it? If you look at also, according to us, he said that it is not stated that he had obtained his wealth by unlawful means. He is not charged with having defrauded anybody or his neighbor. Then why did he grouped at those who coveted? But I also want to say that because he hold his wealth greatly, let me enjoy my selfish holding. If you go to reprint 26:8-6, then the lesson is who we are the trustees. God has trusted to us our wealth. Whatever thing you acquire in this world, you are only there as a trustee. So you need to manage it very well. Knowing well that it belongs to our God Jehovah. There's a good news. Good is that in the kingdom, it will not be so. We believe that in the future and the kingdom, God will give each individual with their own unique plane of life tailored to their specific needs and desire. The Bible teaches that there will be different planes of life or level of existence in the future. This will be based on each individual's character, abilities, and desires. It is believed that also that each individual will be satisfied and be content with their own assigned plane of life and will not desire to be like others. This is because God will provide each person with the opportunities and experiences that are best suited to their unique needs and abilities. No more competition, no more envy or dissatisfaction. Each person will be happy and fulfilled in their own plane of life. I will not feel the need to compare themselves to others. For example, we have the church class, we have the great company class, we have the angels, we have the ancient words, and the rest of the world of mankind. Each will be very happy with the type of life God will assign to them. They will never desire to be member of the great company class or be have an angelic nature. They all will be each will be satisfied. And the great company class will never desire to be a member of the church class. So that is good news. In the kingdom, covetousness will not happen there, because everybody will be happy with the plane of life God give to him. Because things, but there in each place you are, you'll be very happy and satisfied. So if you can see this, if you want to confirm what I said, you can go to scripture, Psalm 37 verse 11, Revelation 21 verse 4, Isaiah 65, and verse 22, verse 21 to 22. I have no time to read. So, amen. May the Lord have bless you. Chairman.
Thank you, Brother Joy. Now it's time for questions. Ask Brother Joy in his presentation. The microphones.
Thank you, brother. We talked about the 10th commandment, which talks about covetousness. But when we go to the book of Corinthians, Apostle Paul talks about the type of covetousness where the new creature have to aspire for. What is that type of covetousness?
That Paul talked about?
Yeah. In the book of Corinthians.
Very good. Okay, yeah, let me answer the way I know. Yes, if we look at let me use the last example I give about a farmer who has a bountiful harvest, and probably have been farming for other years, and his barn contained his wealth. But now God, prosper him. Instead of him to use some of the surplus for the advancement of God's work, or to assist those who are not so blessed like as he is, he decided to hold it for himself. He decided to hold it for himself, so that for many years he will sit lazily and begin to enjoy his wealth. So I think also, according to our, the new creature, we can also convert without knowing. For example, we are having a Zoom meeting fellowship in Nigeria. Some are waiting for other brothers, to support them. Even though they may have money to buy data, they don't want to spend it in service of the Lord. They needed assistance. You see, if you ask him why can't he doesn't join the program, he said, I don't have data. But they can see them wasting that money on things that are not necessary. There was one American president that told us many years ago. I don't want to mention the name. He said he doesn't subscribe for all the channels. Because there are a lot of, I believe about over 100 channels in the US, which you can subscribe for. If it's because they give you junk message, junk information. He said he uses that in the service of the Lord. If you and again, he may use it to sponsor himself to Nigeria, to this Pan-African, rather than using it to, to subscribe for things that are not benefit for him. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother John.
Yeah.
I want to break the question down for you to understand it.
Okay.
In the New Testament, particularly 1 Corinthians 12:31, Apostle Paul says we should convert certain things.
Okay.
Can you explain why this should be so when we say do not convert?
Thank you very much. Yes. There are some things that we can convert. If you go to Galatians, the fruit of the Spirit, you can convert that. So, yeah.
Hello?
There is a sister there.
Thank you, Prabha, for your lovely presentation. Like you rightly mentioned, this being the last commandment is yet the most and stands with great value for us even today. What I'd like to contribute towards is add an additional comment as to what coveting might mean in our day.
And open. So the course of discipleship is to surrender of every
Time. I loved how you said that coveting might also happen in the mind, and that you could start desiring for another person's things or life in your mind, even if you do not physically start acting upon it. What I'd like to mention is how there is a particular discourse on the trials of comparison, and I couldn't help but notice the parallels between the two as to how when we start comparing our lives, our trials, our challenges, or even the blessings that we have with that of others, it somehow causes us a lot of discouragement, and I think the Lord wishes to save us from that discouragement, because each of us has a different life, a different path, and different experiences, and I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. When you read the Ten Commandments, you see the sentence attached to the commandment: when you kill, you should be put to death. When you commit adultery, you should be put to death, and many others. But when you come to this, there's no punishment that is attached. It's not, I think it's not really serious.
But let me decide you. The law said that
With other commandments,
yeah,
you have to be put to death. With theft, you have to pay 2 times, 3 times what you have stolen. But when it comes to this one, there is no punishment. It just stands like that. What do you think?
I think, can somebody, I think I sent you, sorry, was the mic is holding.
It's asking that with the other commandments, when you offend, you are put to death. And like theft, you are expected to pay like twice what you stole. But this one, there is no punishment attached to it. So it doesn't mean it's not a serious commandment.
Yeah, it is not a serious commandment, but I know if you look at Ahab, when Ahab converted, he said, your confession is different times. You can have 2 wives, and someone come and snatch your wife from you. Your wife may follow the person. I think it's not. I think Moses. That was I'm trying to find out why Moses did not attach penalty on that. This is zero penalty on that. If you watch when David was caught, the prophets were sent to David. It was God that punished David, because the high priest have prescribed punishment for him. on earth that he should be stoned. But he never mentioned that he should be stoned. But just deliver the message of God and actually God, gave him the punishment that he deserved, not the people. So the other area where individuals converted and there was no specific punishment, said to them. That's why Jesus Christ also said that if you look at, if you desire something in your heart, even though you have not manifested it, it's only God that sees in your heart, know that you desire this thing. If you have the opportunity to take it, you will do that. That's why Jesus Christ said that yes, even though you have not done this, because you desire it in your heart to do it, but there is no opportunity, you have already done it.
Yes, Brother John.
Yes.
Your answer to Brother Noah is that this is not a serious commandment. But wait, while you were lecturing us there, you did mention that when somebody converts, it can lead to murder. It can lead to different sins.
Yes.
Like murder, like stealing.
Yes.
Are those murder and stealing, are they serious? And if they are serious, what leads to them? Is it trivial or serious?
Yeah, what I said, when you talk about the sin of covetousness, is within the heart. But if you look at from 9 downward, it's a sin that people can see. If you steal, they know that you have stolen. If you kill someone, but within your heart, you may desire something. You may perform that action that even if you manifest, people may not know it is. But other laws is manifest immediately. When someone kill, when someone steal, it is sin, and and when somebody fornicate, it is sin. But before you do that, you will have it in your heart, you must desire it in your heart. That's why when Christ, a brother mentioned this here, at that beginning question time, when the Jews, the high priest, were pursuing the woman, and the woman ran to Jesus. They reported that yes, someone committed adultery. Christ said, if any of you among you that have no sin, let him cast the first stone. So you can convert to your heart, and it never manifests. But other sins are manifested. You can see it when you murder, when you steal. The sin of covetousness, you may have it in your heart, have it in your heart. You may be jealous of somebody, achievement. I wish it is me. I wish it is me that have this. Part of covetousness, but only God sees. Human being can see, it doesn't see it. But yeah, so.
Thank you, brother, for your presentation. Looking at the commandments, they are 10. Which one of them comes with a punishment?
In the Jewish law, that if you steal, he's not just not commit adultery. You commit adultery, you are caught, you will be stoned. So, all this is sin. You can see the Israelites are still on their way to the promised land. One family stole something that was forbidden, something that they should not, take. And you see with the repercussion, what they discovered, they were stoned to death, himself and the family. So if you look at them, those 10 commandments, then we know the one that, but if you say that love your mother and your father, you don't show them love, I don't think that one merits death sentence. If the Lord doesn't love your parents, it's not a death sentence, but there are one that's please people that when you do, you receive instant death.